Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So I did end up just chopping my bangs myself, and as usual they are uneven, but whatever. I am settling down to film late again. I was actually going to film earlier this afternoon, but I got like 5 shiny Pokemon in Violet today and I wasn't even really trying. I was just trying to clean up my national Pokédex because I'm working on getting a living dex. I got a shiny Oshawott, I got 2 shiny Minior, but they're both blue, and then I got a shiny Lokix, and then I got a shiny Rookidee, which is actually my second one. So today I really wanted to film with a couple of different things. So first off, I did get the About Face foundation in the shade F2 Olive because I was supposed to use the E.L.F. Jelly Pop Primer. I completely forgot, so I'm gonna use these two together. I filmed with the NATASHA DENONA Berry Trio before, but these actually, I've had these for probably 2 weeks now, 2.5 weeks now, but I just haven't gone around to it. Everything else is going to just be either stuff I'm liking or it's going to be other random new stuff that I am going to impulsively decide to use. So, okay, so I'm going to use the LANEIGE Cream Skin Mist as like my pre-primer. Oh, I breathed it on accident. Don't do that. So I'm going to go in with this Jelly Pop Primer now. Now, I have heard that this does have a fruity scent to it. Yeah, it smells exactly like artificial watermelon, but I think it should be fine. Hopefully it's not too strong. Definitely feels nice and tacky on my skin. And I'm always looking for a primer that I like just as much as the Dominique Cosmetics one. This is definitely not the same because it's much thicker in consistency and it doesn't turn into like a thin watery consistency as you rub it in. It just stays nice and thick and tacky. My skin feels extra dry, so I'm just gonna put some more mist on my face. Okay, so my skin feels quite a bit better now. So here is what the foundation looks like. Very, very, very nice, sleek tube. Fingerprint central lid for sure. It's very nice and weighty. It feels very nice. The logo is on the side. The name of the product is here in the standard About Face font. And then there is a sticker on the bottom with shade names and information, again in that typeface. I forgot to use under eye brightener. Let me just put my Rare Beauty under eye brightener on really quickly. I'm always forgetting to use it. Also, I need to put on lip balm. That would definitely help. Okay, the doe foot really gets stuck in there. I could see if you pull it out too hard, you can splatter foundation on yourself, so do be careful of that. So this is F2 Olive. This is supposedly like this is like super, super close to the light end of the shade range. So I'm hoping this works for me. I do not like that the doe foot gets stuck super easily though. I will say that is kind of a problem. Like, you really have to push it in and pull it out, so be careful. I'd say as far as olive goes, it might be just a hair too warm for me. If you're like a warmer olive, then I think you might enjoy this. The description online and on the bottle wasn't super clear about the finish. It just was a whole lot of like, looks like skin, super pretty, perfecting, skincare, stuff like that. So it didn't really tell me if it was like matte or satin or if the coverage was high or low. This might be a good one for me to use in the summer because I do sometimes get a little bit of a tan during the summer just by virtue of living in the South. I do not like how hard I have to pull to get the doe foot out though. That does annoy me just a little bit. I'm just gonna put a little bit more. I haven't done my nose yet. The consistency of this foundation is very thin, so I would recommend if you're gonna use this, make sure you shake it beforehand. I'm just gonna I don't usually put very much foundation on my nose and forehead, which I know my nose and my forehead tend to be the most discolored, but I prefer to spot conceal any trouble spots because my nose and my forehead don't really take product very well because they sometimes have dry patches. So undertone wise, I can definitely say very olive undertone. There is quite a bit of green in here, which is really nice. I'd say it's a little bit too much of a warm olive for me because I'm like a neutral olive with like some cool patches on my cheeks, which is a little bit more of an uncommon undertone than warm olive. But if you are a warmer olive, I think you will be pleased as punch to see the inclusion of olive undertones in this range. It does have quite a glow. I would say this is more of like a natural dewy foundation. It's not as dewy as some foundations I've tried, but it is on the dewier side of things. Okay, sorry, so my camera did just crash. I'm still using my old one just because I keep forgetting to get a lens. but I will quickly recap. It was mostly 11 minutes of me just talking, so you did not miss much, but I will quickly recap what I did. This is actually the first time that this camera has crashed in several weeks, so I guess I had just gotten overconfident thinking that it was okay now. We verified that me buying a new camera body was indeed not a waste of money because this camera is still not working. But let me quickly just recap what I did. This is the contour golden ratio contour trio. I saw this being used in a Xiaohongshu video that then got re-uploaded by Dear Peachy, that they were using this to cover their tear grooves. So I tried using the powder to cover my tear grooves. Obviously it didn't work, but I'm going to continue messing around with this. I also did go ahead and use the cream contour to do some contour slash bronzer. The color is not bad, but I had trouble blending it out, so I will continue messing around with that. But so far, kind of a meh impression. And then I did try to use the nose contour shade in the middle, which is powder. I did try to use that like right here, and I think it actually doesn't look too bad. I did use it under my lips, which I used to do contour under my bottom lip all the time because it makes my bottom lip look so much better. And then I stopped, I guess because I just straight up forgot. So this is my reminder to start doing that again because it makes me look so much better. I feel like this would probably be a good shade for me to use under the nose too. So far, feeling a little bit meh about this, but I will keep messing around. Okay, so I zoomed in just a touch so you can see my eyes a little bit better because I'm going to do my dream eye look. Hopefully I don't lose footage here. I feel like I'm jinxing myself saying that. I did go ahead and do my brows off camera just for brevity's sake. So this is the mini My Dream collection. There is one shade that is repeated in here. There's one repeat in this, and it is going to be this shade on the end here called Nurture. That is also present in the midi My Dreams. So for me, that was worth it. I didn't really care one way or another. I was like, I want it. I'm going to start off with the lightest matte, and I'm just going to be using this flat brush from the Sigma collection, Makeup by Shayla, I think. There's a lot of like really big quote-unquote OG creators who I just don't follow because I didn't actually start really watching a lot of beauty YouTube until 2018 or so. Like, it used to just be me and my sister watching Tati together, but I didn't actually start picking up and consuming content regularly, like actually having subscription feeds and checking in on people. I didn't actually start doing that until about early mid 2019, and then it really picked up in 2020 for pretty obvious reasons. So a lot of the really big creators who got big in like the 2014, 2013, 2014 era of YouTube, I actually am not familiar with like at all. I'm sticking this shade higher up on my eyelid because I'm going to be blending the darker shades into it. So this is going to be a transition shade, but I'm not sticking it where I'm sticking darker shades. I'm just laying it down so the darker shades have something to blend into later. Okay, and then I'm going to go into Nurture, which is that shade on the end. So this is the shade that is already in the midi My Dream. And this is going to go basically all over my eyelid. This is kind of going to be like the main all over shade, and then I'll add depth with the darker brown. I do like the range of mattes in this mini palette. There's one light, one medium, and one dark. Some of her mini palettes don't go very dark, but this one, the three mattes are exactly what I need. And then it has one light shimmer and one medium shimmer. So I think that out of all of the mini palettes that she has that are currently available, I'd say this is probably one of the more complete feeling ones for me. And this brush is a little bit too big for me to be using, but I'm just using it for lay down. I will be going in with a different brush later. Yeah, this brush is like technically speaking way too big for me to be using, but I'm just lazy. I thought about doing like a Douyin style cut crease with this, but I'm just not really feeling like it right now. I do not have that kind of mental energy in me today. I really want to try doing Douyin style cut creases, but with liquid shadows, because I know a lot of the videos I've seen that with that style of cut crease, they use liquid shadows. And I have so many about face eye paints. So I'm just going to use that shade Nurture on the lower lash line, and I don't care about how low it goes because this is going to be a pretty simple blown out look. So I can go ahead and bring it lower and it doesn't matter, and it actually is going to help kind of reduce the length of the middle of my face. Do you see how far down I brought it? And it helps shorten the distance between my mouth and my lower eyelid. Okay, so now that I've done that preliminary laydown, I am now going to take the darkest shade in this palette, and I'm going to use this to... Oh, I took too much. I'm going to use this as the darkest shade, and I was not going to start off using this much, but I guess we are. And this shade feels so soft and nice. That's what I like about her matte formula. It's on the creamier side, so I find it works better with my dry eyelids. And I'm just taking my time to build up and blend this eyeshadow. I'm not really in a hurry or anything. And then of course, right on my lash line is where I have it at the darkest. This shade of brown is so nice. It's a very nice neutral shade of brown. It's not too warm and it's not too cool. Very middle of the road brown, so it's super, super nice. Most palettes tend to go warm or cool, so it's always nice to find something that's just middle of the road. So do you see the difference now between these two eyes? So now I have to replicate this on the other eye. My eyes are a little bit on the dry side today, so I feel like my eyelid texture and my eyelid wrinkles are a little bit more pronounced than normal. That is the one thing about monolids that I have really come to dislike, is just how wrinkly they're getting. Because like my sister has double eyelids and she has literally no eyelid wrinkles at all aside from her usual double eyelid crease. Her double eyelid, that's where her eye folds, like that's where the wrinkle is, so it's a very clean wrinkle because that's her double eyelid. Whereas with my monolids, there's nowhere for my eyelid skin to go as it gets older, so it's just crinkling in on itself, and it's just like my eyelids are so obviously wrinkly now. Like is this just what I have to look forward as I age? I probably think about this way too much, but it's like seriously getting on my nerves. And it's not like you can really fix it either. Aside from getting double eyelid surgery, you can't really like get rid of monolid wrinkles. Okay, so I think I got them pretty symmetrical, so that is my eye look right now. Just a standard like monolid kind of smoky eye situation, although not as smoky as I've gone before. I would consider this pretty tame personally. Like this for me is not even a smoky eye. This is like simple daytime look, although I think for pretty much everyone else, especially in Asia, this would be like pretty intense. I'm gonna take this shade here. And my fingers, for some reason, my hands are really sweaty today, probably because I was just playing my Nintendo Switch so much, which I get sweaty hands when I play video games, so I'm not going to use my fingers today or else it is going to probably get all over the shadow and be disgusting. So I'm just going to find a brush and use that. Okay, I'm going to take this rougher 28. I'm gonna take this shimmer first, and then I'm gonna use the middle shimmer as like my inner corner. The rougher 28 is pretty good at picking up shimmers. I actually think I prefer it personally over the 21. So as you can see, these are definitely more smooth and satin, but I feel like that's really appropriate for this palette. And I feel like it is smoothing out and concealing a lot of my texture. I really want to get into more satin shadows because they just look so much more flattering on my eyelids. And if I'm not feeling like doing a molten metal ultra foiled look, then I don't want something that's going to emphasize all of my texture. So I personally have been really eyeing the YSL quads because when I saw Jen Phelps say how much she liked them, and then I swatched them in store while I was in Las Vegas, well shoot, those look perfect for me, and the satin shades look like they'd be so flattering on my wrinkly eyelids. So I think at the next VIB sale, because it's constant, the color that I want, the cooler brown one, is constantly sold out. So if it's in stock by the time the spring sale comes along, that YSL clutch quad is definitely on my to buy list. Ooh, and this is such a beautiful one and done kind of lower lash line shade too. Just adds the perfect amount of shine. I feel like the dark brown and this satin shade are actually kind of similar to the ones in the YSL one. Not that that's gonna stop me from wanting the YSL one, but anyways. Okay, I'm gonna flip the brush over and use the middle shade. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use a different highlighter for my actual inner corner, and I'm just gonna use this on the inner half of my eyelid. This one, okay, this one, it's feeling less smooth, but it's also feeling like it wants to be sparkly, but it's not sparkly, so it just feels kind of crumbly and dry. The way it's picking up on the brush, I'm pretty sure this is a finger shade, so I'll have to try it later when my hands are cleaner, because the way it's going on my eyelid, I have a feeling this would look way, way, way better if I used a finger or a foam applicator. So I'll have to try that sometime. Yeah, the Refer 28, it's good for some shimmers, but it's not good for all of them. It's better for satins. It's not suited for foils or sparkles or toppers. This is what my eye look is looking like so far. I actually think I know what I'm going to do for my inner corner. I'm going to go ahead and just start using this my Mini Dream Glow Blush Trio Early. Here is the size compared to my face. It is very, very small. So that is why the price is a little bit lower. Well, I thought that the highlight shade here would be good. I think it's gonna be too dark. Hold on. That's okay. I have other options. Okay, I'm going to use this shade from the Flower Nose palette. There is a highlighter. See that oval pan? That is a highlighter. I'm just gonna use this as my inner corner highlight. Flower Nose, I think, makes some of the most beautiful highlighty shades I have ever seen. Like, the highlighty shades and the sparkly shades in their eyeshadow palettes are gorgeous. Their face powder highlighters are gorgeous. The highlighter in this face palette is gorgeous. I am going to make a video of both the Swan Ballet soon-ish, as soon as I can, and then also I did order the Little Angel collection, but it's not going to be coming to me yet. One of my relatives got it for me while she was over there for New Year's vacation, and so when she comes back to the US she'll bring it to me, but obviously that's whenever she's done. My eyelids are so dry today. I feel like there is a line on my eyelid where I can see the shimmer shade all sinking into that crease area. That happens sometimes when I didn't prep my eyelid properly. Yeah, my eyelid skin is not in good condition today, so because NATASHA DENONA eyeshadows never behave like that on me, but I noticed my Rare Beauty eye primer went on. It felt completely different than it usually does. It usually feels really hydrating and nice, and today it totally dried out my skin. I'm gonna go ahead, I think I'll go ahead and curl my lashes and do my mascara on camera. That might be fun. I'm so scatterbrained right now, so I'm gonna just use my rougher eyelash curler is currently AWOL, so I'm back to using my Shiseido eyelash curler. Between the two, I like the rougher one more because it's bigger and flatter, and I think it opens a little bit wider, but the Shiseido one is just fine. This was the one that I was in a committed relationship with up until the rougher one came out. The older formulations of this from Etude House used to fix my lashes so well. I use this and then I use something like Mac Stack, and then like 10 minutes later my lashes are almost straight. So I'm gonna try this one more time now that it's had a couple weeks to dry out, and if it doesn't work I'm gonna have to find something else. You see the difference in my eyes with curled lashes versus not curled lashes? Isn't that crazy? I'm gonna give the Etude House Mascara Fixer plenty of time to set. This Estee Lauder mascara is okay, honestly. I just kind of want to open up one of my other ones that I have waiting in the wings, but then my mom just like gave me a whole bunch of these random mascaras and I was like, well, I might as well use them. But honestly, I just want to open up my own already. My outer corner lower lashes are balding again. I have decided I am just going to go ahead and open a new mascara. This is the one I had been using for a while. I just mostly have it for the packaging, but it is pretty much dried out. I do have a new one waiting in the wings, but I'm gonna still keep this one purely for packaging purposes. When I get stuff like this for packaging, I will put this on display somewhere just so that I can look at it and it can be pretty. And then my other mascaras that dry out or that I just straight up don't like and won't use, especially like sample mascaras that already come dry out, Chanel did this to me once, I'll actually let them become cat toys because my cats love things that can roll. So, and most mascara tubes are to some extent circular, so I'll put them on the hardwood downstairs and the cats will roll them around and they'll have a great time. So that's actually what I do with my old mascaras, is I just let the cats play with them and then they don't bother my actual mascaras. This is one of the mascaras I got as a gift with purchase. So Ulta's Diamond Days can sometimes be, for me, they're super hit or miss. It's either complete miss or it's a total hit. Like one time I got the entire ColourPop Smokin' Hot for free with a $25 purchase, along with like a Jane Iredale palette, like both of those for free with 25 bucks. That was a good day. And then this was another one of the good days. The gloss is absolute trash. I hate plumping glosses and that burned so bad. So my review on that, no. But the other thing that it came with among some other things was this full-size mascara, which caught my interest. I do like the tube, I do like the color, the oval is really cute. I am not personally going to spend any of my money on Polite Society because I just don't really care for anything started by Jared Blandino, but I got this for free. I didn't pay for it, so I'm gonna try it. I do like the wand, it's nice and slim. And we'll see if this Etude House fixer works or not. We'll know in like 20 minutes. Okay, so that is going to be the mascara I have open for now. Not bad. I feel like It's not quite as volumizing as it was advertised. I did totally just get like so much mascara on my upper eyelid, but whatever, we'll just pretend that doesn't exist. I'm gonna first draw some fake lower lashes because I need them. I'm using the Urban Decay Perversion liner, which when I was at Ulta looking for the About Face foundation, I did swatch the new Urban Decay eyeliners, the ones that have the grip, just in case this gets discontinued, and it wasn't too awful. My current Urban Decay one, it's getting to the point where it starts to like, the ink kind of is leaking because it's so freaking old, but it still works, so I still use it. Okay, so I just used a dab of eyeshadow to straighten that out. I'm going to take just a little bit of Space Cowboy from Urban Decay, and I'm just going to take this on a brush of some kind. I'm just going to use my Rougher 28 again. I was about to use my finger, and then I was like, wait, my fingers feel really gross. I'm just going to use this to add just a touch of sparkle. And this will cheer me up. Okay, so I'm going to take the cheek trio, and I'm just going to focus on using the shades on the matte shades on the side. And for that, I'm going to take a very diffuse. The one palette that fell onto the carpet is the one palette I really would have not seen fall. I just dropped a palette onto the carpet, and it is the one palette that really cannot fall because the shade arrived shattered, and now it's shattered again. Okay, I tried my best to smash that back together, but it is literally gone everywhere, and I am mildly upset. Back to what I was doing before I so recklessly threw my makeup everywhere. I've heard it pulls a lot peachier than it looks in the pan. I just peeled off the thing. The way that it's mixed, the three shades, it's mixed to have kind of this like almost like graffiti messy look is really cute, but if you want it to be completely and totally matte, you are gonna have to be a little bit careful and deliberate about where you put your brush, and you will have to use like a smaller size brush, because otherwise these little tiny highlights that are in this are going to add glow to your look. It's pulling a lot warmer on me than the actual eyeshadows are, so it's making my whole look quite warm. As you can see, I'm just doing my usual blush placement of focusing it higher on my cheekbones and under my eyeshadow, which is just how I like to do things. And I do tend to put my blush on a little bit heavier than most, which is fine. I just like how I look that way. It blends out super well even on top of a non-powdered base, so I am very pleased with that, and I'm not getting any sort of kickback in the pan, so I like this a lot. I actually haven't used her powder blush formula too terribly often, because most of the time when I do have her cheek products, they tend to be in a cream formula, which is good too. But I actually think this is probably one of my first times using a powder blush formula from her. The highlighter is usually the powder and the blush is usually cream, so I've actually never tried a powder blush formula, or if I have, I've only maybe tried once. And the glow from the foundation you can see is still coming through, which is really cool too. So this isn't gonna like mattify or anything like that. So I am now going to take a even tinier brush. Okay, so I lost some highlighter footage, but it was just me talking about the highlighter, and I was basically just saying that I felt like it blended out really easily, and so it didn't really leave behind a stripe. I was able to diffuse out into the blush super easily, which makes total, complete, and perfect sense considering the fact that the pans are merged together. They are intended to work and blend into each other very well. So that is a really big perk of this highlighter. The only downside really is if you're like me and you want to use the product separately, you will have to use a very precise small brush, but I personally think smaller diffuse cheek brushes are easier to use anyways, because especially if you're like me, I feel like I kind of have a smaller face. I had started to doubt myself of if I was wasting my money getting a new camera body or not from Sony. And I think I just got my confirmation that no, it was not a waste of money and I need to go ahead and get a new lens. I do still prefer how Canon interprets colors. Canon is far more color accurate for a fraction of the effort. I'm just gonna say that right there. I really want to use one of my KALEIDOS lips, but I'm wondering if I have one that matches. This one I think might be okay. This is the new KALEIDOS lip glaze in the shade 104. It's from their new collection. It came out in the same collection as all of those like super pale blushes. As you can see, it is quite sheer, so I am gonna put on like a second layer. I do really like how these feel. They're not sticky, they're super cushiony, very hydrating. They feel like a hybrid between a lip gloss and a liquid balm. They do feel really, really nice. I think that might be a little bit too cool for this look, but it works with the eyeshadow. It doesn't work with the blush, but it works with the eyeshadow. So funny thing that now that I'm looking at them, when I picked out the shades, I thought I was picking 2 different shades, and you can kind of see the shades through the tube. The tube is tinted, so you're not going to see the true color through the tube, but like these look super same. I thought I was picking 2 different shades. They look the same. Well, I'll have more thoughts on those later. I have a lot of Chinese beauty I need to get caught up on, so I'll talk more about those later. But anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here before my camera misbehaves anymore. Sorry about the lost contour bronzer footage. Thankfully, I was able to remember to stop and start my camera pretty frequently, like every 2 to 3 minutes for my eyeshadow, so that the eyeshadow was not lost, which is kind of the most important part. So I'm just going to... I think I'll just leave my hair like this. My hair is super frizzy right now. I slept on it wrong right after washing it, so I woke up and my hair was all crimped and curly looking, so I'm just gonna keep it up for now. I'm as zoomed out as I can go. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna call this the look. I did like pretty much everything I put on. I'm gonna continue messing around with the foundation and the primer. I'll see if I get any breakouts or anything. I do want to do a swatch through of a swatch party of my foundation collection sometime in the future. One thing I don't mind swatching obviously is foundations. That won't happen now, but this definitely will be one of the darker ones in my collection, along with unfortunately the Tom Ford one, which sad. See, I got this in 0.3. It should have been a lot lighter than it actually is too. The E.L.F. Jelly Pot Primer, it takes me like 1 to 2 months to fully acknowledge if I like a primer or not. It really does take me that long, especially since I'm not filming every day and I don't wear makeup every day. It takes me a very long time for me to know if I like complexion products or not, and primers take me the longest. But I'm gonna go ahead and round up this video here before my camera cuts out on me again. So I will see you guys hopefully in the next video, and that'll be it. So yeah, until then, hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.